These 8 videos have something in common. They've all crossed 1 million views. But here's what most people don't know. It wasn't just the content that made them successful. It was what I did when uploading each one of them, right? This one got 5.6 million views. It was posted 7 months ago. This one got 4.3 million, and this one is approaching 2 million views. And a lot of those views come from using the right upload process that most creators completely ignore. And today I'm gonna be showing you the exact checklist that I follow, and I'm gonna be uploading a video live showing you exactly every single thing that I do when I'm uploading a video to give it the best chance of success. And these strategies have generated extra tens of millions of views across my channel. And they've worked for many other channels too. Take Seth, for example. Before we started working together, he couldn't get a single video to get 100,000 views. And he'd been uploading for 8 years on YouTube. So we spent hours analyzing what was going wrong, and turns out his content was actually pretty good. But one of the biggest mistakes he was making was his upload process. And after just days of implementing these strategies, 2 of his videos crossed 100,000 views. And one of them got over 300,000 views. Same guy, same content quality, completely different results. And by the way, if you're stuck trying to get more subscribers or views, I actually have a free live training that I'm doing this Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, guys, quick break. This Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm doing a one-time only AI content creation workshop, and I will be giving you the secrets that many successful content creators use in 2025. This will be good for you whether you are somebody who just wants to create a personal brand to get a better job, whether you want to start a side hustle, make a little bit of passive income on the side, make a full-time income, or even start a full business using AI and content creation. And this is something that hasn't been accessible to most people until AI came along, because it simply would take too long to do. And you can check it out down in the description and the pinned comment below. Now, at this workshop, I'm going to be giving away my VibeWriter content creation AI. This is a GPT-powered piece of software that I've been working on, and it's trained on thousands of hours of teaching, my scripts, coaching sessions, etc. And with this tool, you can make a script without having to type anything. You just talk to it, right? It's kind of like vibe coding, if you've heard of that. And it'll basically write you an amazing script, which you can use for content. And I'm giving it away for this one time only at the workshop. So make sure you show up. Click the link in the description or the pinned comment below. And when you're done registering, make sure to click on add this to your calendar. Like I said, the workshop's completely free. The VibeWriter AI is completely free, but you do have to go to the workshop. And if you click add this to your calendar, it'll show up in your Google, Apple, or Outlook calendar. So you can make sure that you won't miss the chance to grab the VibeWriter content creation AI. And you'll also be able to ask me questions live. So it'll be a Zoom call where we can basically just talk to each other. So I look forward to meeting you. See you Tuesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Click the link in the description, the pinned comment below. And now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. All right, guys, so I just uploaded this file, and you'll see that the file name is Final Export 2025, and this is actually incorrect. Now, I did this on purpose because this is what I see most people doing. The real title of this video is 10 things every YouTuber should do after uploading, and that actually should be the title here. So the title I should have put right here is 10 things every YouTuber should do after uploading. And then you can put this part, Final Export 2025. You can put that at the end. And that's typically what we do with our video. And this is a big mistake, especially when you have a smaller channel. See, YouTube is trying to figure out what your channel is all about and what audience to show your videos to. And if you don't name your files, especially when you're a new channel, when you're a smaller channel, this makes YouTube's job 10 times harder. Even if you're a more advanced channel, you should still be naming your files because, again, it makes it easier for YouTube to tell what your videos are all about. So this is kind of like the difference between you introducing yourself properly when meeting a new person versus just grunting like a pig. Now, additionally, this is not as important, but it's something else that you should do. When you go to upload your thumbnails, you should do the same exact thing. Name your thumbnail the same name that you have for your title. So you'd basically just go here, you'd get your thumbnail, and you'd upload that as the same title. And again, you can put whatever you want at the end. Final Export 2025 doesn't really matter, but having those two things is going to help the algorithm to figure out what your video is all about. Now, you might be thinking, well, that's great, Shane, but how do I actually figure out what the title should be? Well, I like to use something called the Moneyball method. Now, the way this works is it's based off of the movie Moneyball. And in this movie, they basically figured out that it's much more valuable to get people who are good at hitting the ball and getting on base than to try to get people who are good at hitting home runs because they were way too expensive. They cost way too much money. And this is basically the same thing on YouTube. You want to make sure that you target those videos, especially when you're small, that are very likely to get on base. And what that means in this particular situation is get views from search.
Quick break. This video is sponsored by me. Most of you don't know that I actually have my own coaching program on personal branding and then growing and making money on YouTube. And this is good for complete beginners, maybe even people who just want to get a job by growing their personal brand, all the way up to people who are very advanced on YouTube. And they get to work directly with myself and my team to help them reach their goals. Now, we are opening up 3 to 5 spots, and this is pretty rare. We usually don't have these open. We usually only limit them to select people. But we're opening up 3 to 5 spots, and you can check those out down in the description and the pinned comment below. And in this program, you'll get to work directly with myself and other people who are highly successful on YouTube. Just as an example, Sean was able to go all the way from being stuck, not making very much money on his channel, to making over $500,000 a month. Now, that's an example of one of my more advanced students, but there's lots of examples of people who started off from scratch and they got to 5K a month, 10K a month, etc. So check that out down in the description and the pinned comment below.
Okay, getting views from search is way less competitive than getting views on the home page. However, you don't want to totally ignore the home page. This is also known as browse. You also want to try to get views from browse, but you want to make your videos in such a way where there's a chance that you hit a home run or get views from browse. But if you don't hit a home run, you're still going to get views from search. So how exactly do you do that? Basically, the way you do this is you make sure that one of your main keywords, in this case, it's YouTuber, is very close to the beginning. But you also want to make the title attractive, right? Because attractive titles are more likely to get promoted on the home page. So in this particular case, it would be 10 things every YouTuber should do after uploading. Let's see if we can add a little bit of spice to this to make it more attractive. Okay, so I don't know if this is the final title I'm gonna go with, but 10 things every YouTuber should do immediately after uploading. That adds a little emotion, a little bit of flavor to the title, and it makes it a bit different than other titles. So yeah, we're gonna go with this for the purposes of this video. By the way, I have a GPT that helps me come up with titles. That's typically what I use to come up with titles, and I will be giving that away during the live training. So sign up for it, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Tuesday. And here's what the GPT looks like, by the way. So I'm just gonna go ahead and click here to get high converting titles. And then what I'm gonna do here is just copy and paste the title that we currently have. And I'm just gonna say, give me 10 different versions of this title that would be SEO friendly, but also likely to go viral on the home page, and rate all of them from 1 to 10 on how good they are. Okay, and then it gives me 10 of them, and I might end up using one of these when I upload this video. And it gave me a score from 1 to 10, and a few of them actually got ratings of 9. But anyways, let's just pretend that this is the title that we're going to choose. The next thing that I highly recommend you do, again, especially if you have a small channel. Once you have a bigger channel, this matters a lot less, but I highly recommend that at the top of the description, or very close to the top of the description, you want to basically do a little summary of your video, okay? Now, here's what I recommend doing. The first 2 to 3 lines are going to end up being what's known as above the fold. So just as an example, you see this video right here got 5.6 million views. You can see that the first 3 lines right here are above the fold. That means people can see it without having to click more. Now, when they click more, they can see even more. Right? With that being said, most people are not going to click more. So you want your most important links to be above the fold. So ideally, when you first start on YouTube, you really only want to put one link at the top. So basically put important link here, and this is above the fold, and then 1 space optional second link. And really, when you first start, you probably should just have 1 link and then a strong call to action to click that link. Notice I have a strong call to action to click my workshop because I'm having the workshop this week and I want people to show up to it. And I want to be able to help people with their YouTube channels. So that's my most important link for this video, and it will be at the top. And then you can have an optional second link. The bigger your channel is, the less it matters about doing a strong call to action with 1 link. But if you have like 10 links, chances are people are going to click on none of them, right? So you really do want to put the link that has the actual call to action at the very top. That's the most important thing. So if you have a call to action in your video to attend a workshop, then you should put that link at the top. If you have a call to action in your video to click on some type of free lead magnet, put that link at the top. If you have a call to action in your video to buy some type of course, put that link at the top. So whatever your call to action is in your video, make sure you put that link at the very top. It's very important that that is the first link at the top. And ideally, especially when you're small, that should be the only link at the top. So you have the important link here, optional second link, and then the third line, paragraph about the video. So basically, you want this to be an SEO optimized paragraph about the video. Now, you want to be a little bit careful here, and I could probably make an entire video talking about this. Be a little bit careful here because you do not want to keyword stuff. Do not keyword stuff, okay? YouTube does not like that, okay? So you want it to be SEO optimized, but you do not want to put too many keywords here. So let me show you a really easy way to do this. I'm going to show you a paid option and then a free option. So we're going to take the title here. I'm going to go copy, and we're going to go to vidIQ. Now this is the paid version of vidIQ. I'm going to go ahead and paste the title, and then I'm going to go generate. And we're going to go ahead and skip the thumbnail for now, although the thumbnail option is okay. I do typically recommend making your thumbnails on Canva. I think it's better on Canva, but this is, vidIQ is useful. It can make a decent thumbnail. But we're going to go ahead and skip this for now. And here is a description. So it automatically makes sure that you're not like keyword stuffing, but it does add some SEO optimized descriptions here. So this is a good enough description, and you can literally just use this one right from vidIQ. So you can use that, and then you can go ahead and post it right here. So obviously, like, this is basically me telling you what to do, but we would, just copy and paste the description right there. And that is pretty decent. With that being said, if you don't have access to vidIQ, you can also use ChatGPT to make this, and you can use the free version of ChatGPT. So again, we're going to copy and paste the title. We're going to go to ChatGPT. So I have the paid version of ChatGPT, so I'm going to open incognito just so it uses the free version so I can show you how to do it. And then I'm going to copy and paste the title in here. And then I'm going to paste this exact prompt, and you can actually just pause the video if you like, and you can even just literally take a screenshot of this and put it into ChatGPT and it'll do the same thing. But yeah, write me an SEO optimized description for a YouTube video titled, then I paste my title. I will be pasting the keywords that I need you to put in the description, as these are search terms that are top related keywords. Now, if you're wondering how to find the keywords, the free version of vidIQ will actually let you see some of the best keywords. So we're just going to go ahead and copy these, and then we're going to paste the keywords down at the bottom, and then we're going to go ahead and click enter. Okay, so it included timestamps and stuff like that, but you don't really need that at this point unless you want to put timestamps, but you can just go ahead and do that. Now, a pro tip with the timestamps is you can also make the timestamps SEO optimized. So if you are putting timestamps in your video, you should SEO optimize those as well. So the rules when it comes to putting timestamps in your videos is you want them to be SEO friendly, you want them to not give away what the thing actually is, and you want them to actually cause intrigue, right? So those are the three rules when it comes to timestamps. Now, some types of content, obviously you should put timestamps. Some types of content, it just doesn't make sense to do it. So that's more of a case-by-case basis. But you'd go ahead and copy this, and you'd go back to your video, and you would put it in the description right here, right? But I'm not going to do it because I'm just going to go ahead and use vidIQ. And this is why I love vidIQ. If there's only one YouTube tool that if I had to choose one, I have like all of them, but if I had to only choose one YouTube tool, it would be vidIQ. It's my favorite tool. Not even sponsored or anything by them. I think I have an affiliate link from them, but I don't really promote it that much. All right, so the description, there's more to it. I could probably make a whole video on that, but I think you get the idea. Next thing, we want to go to playlists. Now, this part may seem boring, but it's actually crucial, right? You want to assign your video to focused playlists. Don't just dump it in random videos, right? Create a specific playlist that makes sense. And what I mean by that is if someone is interested in this particular video you're uploading, they may also be interested in other videos. Put it in that playlist. For instance, if someone is watching a video on how to upload to YouTube, they're probably also interested in watching a video on how to make thumbnails or how to choose the right titles. But they're probably not interested in watching a video on how to choose the right career, right? So don't put those two in the same playlist. It makes absolutely no sense to do that. And I see people doing this all the time. They'll just throw every single video in one playlist. And it just, you're not helping yourself at all when you do that. However, if you strategically make playlists, this can be a really good idea and it can help you get more views. Now, additionally, always mark your videos as no, it is not made for kids. Very, very important that you do this. Never, ever, ever mark that it's made for kids unless it is absolutely 100% made for kids. We're talking like, Ryan's Toy Reviews or Coco Melon, right? Those videos you can mark as made for kids. But for most types of content, absolutely do not mark that. Mark it as it's not made for kids. Now, one thing I want to point out is around this point, YouTube may have prompted you to enable the player for education setting. Now, it's already prompted me and I said no, so it's not going to pop up for me, but it may pop up for you. And this is something where my brother actually watched some videos like this and someone recommended to use the player for education setting and mark it as yes. Do not do that unless your videos are designed to be primarily watched inside of a classroom, right? So if you're making tutorial videos that are designed to be watched inside of a classroom, then you can mark player for education as yes. But in literally every other circumstance, it is going to crush your AdSense. So don't do it, okay? Don't do it. Now, my brother Zach learned this the hard way. He marked it as yes, and it actually dropped his views immediately, okay? So don't do that. YouTube doesn't really make it clear about that type of thing. Mark player for education as no in 99% of cases. Now, additionally, altered content. Obviously, if you're not using AI content, make sure you mark no there. Automatic chapters, might as well mark yes unless you're putting your own chapters. Featured places, allow automatic places, totally fine. Allow automatic concepts. So when it comes to the tags, you can just use vidIQ to automatically put the tags in. I think that's the most just basically the smartest thing to do. And it's pretty good at coming up with related tags. You can go for relevancy, you can go for overall. But to be honest, I would not spend more than 1 minute on this. Just select a bunch of tags, boom, 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 go down the line, select a bunch of tags, and that's it. Don't spend any more time because tags are honestly not very important. So for instance, I'm just gonna go ahead and press the plus here, and on and on and on, right? I'm just gonna select those until it gets close to 500. And yeah, this is something where vidIQ is great. And this is actually available on the free version. I'm not sure if it's available all the time, like if you're uploading a bunch of videos, but I believe it is actually available on the free version. So vidIQ is super useful. Okay, so next let's get into the metadata and algorithm optimization. So first of all, enable automatic chapters at key moments. YouTube loves this because it helps viewers navigate your content. Also allow embedding, and then also allow video and audio remixing, and push to subscriptions feed and notify subscribers. And some creators turn this off thinking that they're protecting their content, when in reality, you're just limiting how far it can spread. Now, when it comes to the category, this is where it gets a bit interesting. For most educational content, if you're doing like a tutorial style video, you wanna mark how-to style. Most of our videos are educational, and that's because we basically do like listicle style videos. But this particular video, we could probably mark it as how-to and style because it's a little bit more of a step-by-step tutorial. But just because we typically do education, we're gonna stick with education. However, if you mark this as how-to style, if you're doing a tutorial video or a how-to video, this can be a really good idea. But those two are probably the most common ones. If you're doing an entertainment video, obviously you'd mark as entertainment. If you're doing auto and vehicle video, you'd mark it as autos and vehicle, et cetera, et cetera. But this is gonna help YouTube categorize your channel. And it's very important that you do that. So generally speaking, for my channel, I would pretty much always choose education or how-to and style. And then for type, you could choose how-to or tips. Both of those are fine. I'm gonna go ahead and choose how-to on this. And then here, I usually just ignore this. All right, so at this point, you would go ahead and click next. Now, when it comes to monetization, if your video is 8 minutes, you can add mid-roll ads. Now, for a long time, what we would do is we would place ad breaks every 90 to 180 seconds. So basically every 1.5 to 3 minutes. And we try to place them at natural transition points. And we would do this manually. Now, YouTube is kind of trying to basically crack down on this stuff. So if you place an ad manually and they basically come up like a little red exclamation point, then that probably means you need to replace that ad. And YouTube is constantly changing this. It might work for one person, but they're A/B testing it. It's different for another person. So you can just mark for them to automatically place, and then you can try to place extra ones on your own. But the truth is YouTube promotes monetized content more aggressively, and the more money they're making, the more money you're making. And the more money you're making from AdSense, the more money they're making. So it's a win-win situation. And they're going to promote your content more if you're making more money. And when you place more ads, you make more money. And the viewers who don't want to see it can easily just sign up to YouTube Premium, or they can just use ad blocker like most people do. So I could make a whole video about how to kind of place them at strategic parts where YouTube likes it, but at the same time, people are not likely to click off the video when they see the ad, but that would take an entire video. So I'm not going to do that. But if you want to just keep it simple here, just do the automatic placements from YouTube because they do a pretty good job at actually placing them, and then try to do a couple extra if you can. All right, so at this point, if you have subtitles, you can obviously add them. That is usually not gonna be worth it for 99% of people. In screen, I do highly recommend that you actually add an in screen, and specifically, you want to promote a very specific video. Now, there's two different types of in screens you can do. One type of in screen is basically designed for you to get more views. The other type of in stream is designed for you to get more sales. So there's two different types you can do. If you want to just get more views, you're not really focused on getting more sales, then you do that type of end screen. And so that would be something like, okay, if people are interested in 10 things every YouTuber should do immediately after uploading, they're probably also interested in, 5 best tips to make killer thumbnails or something like that. So I would send them to an end screen about making thumbnails. However, if I'm trying to monetize, I would send them to an end screen that's going to be a bottom of funnel video that's likely to not get very many views on its own. But when you funnel views to that video from other videos, you end up getting way more views, right? So for instance, I might do an interview video from me and my client. I probably will do that as an end screen at the end of this video. I like to strategically put it in a place where I can say, click right here. And I can actually point to it because, again, when you do a strong call to action like that, people are more likely to click. So in that particular case, I would choose this one, and then I'd say click right here, and at the end screen, I will be pointing directly to it. And so I'd choose that one, and then this would be the subscribe one. That's going to be on the top right. And then the video, you can choose most recent upload, best reviewer, or I like to choose a specific video. So for instance, this video that I have on my homepage right here, how I help Sean scale from 30K to 500K per month. Obviously, it doesn't get that many views on its own, but I promote it to people, and people that are actually interested in it, they're gonna watch it. This is the type of video that on its own, it's not gonna get that many views, but it's an interview video where I interview Sean and we talk about, how we helped to grow his channel. And because of that, it's gonna get a lot more views because of the fact that I promote it. And then at that point, you would go ahead and press done and just let it sit there. Now, when you first start your channel, you really wanna let it sit for about 48 hours, right? You wanna let it sit for at least 2 days before you publish it. And the reason for that is because YouTube is going to have time to basically make sure that your video isn't AI slop or spam, etc. There's a lot of people that are spammers, and YouTube needs to know that they trust your video. So they have these AIs basically crawl your video to make sure that it's not spam. And you wanna give it about 48 hours to make sure that you have the AI do the right thing and basically make sure that AI and YouTube knows that your video is safe. Now, here's an example of a video that I uploaded. And what you wanna do is the pinned comment right here at the very bottom, you wanna make sure, especially when you first start your channel, that this pinned comment has a question for them to interact with. Now, my channel is pretty big at this point. We got over 1 million subscribers, so this pinned comment doesn't really matter anymore. And I basically just put my call to action comment there. But when you first start your channel, make sure the pinned comment has some sort of question or something like that that people can interact with, because it's gonna increase your engagement. Additionally, you wanna make sure that the hour after you post your video, and I still do this to this day, you respond to every single comment. This is going to increase engagement. It's especially important when you start a new channel, and it's going to basically train people that if they respond to your video or they comment on your video right when your video goes live, then they're very likely gonna get rewarded by a response from the creator themselves. And so it trains them to basically be online when your videos get uploaded and engage with your video right away, which helps you and it helps them. So it's a win-win for everyone. Now, additionally, you do not have to do this, but if you have the option, if you either have another YouTube channel or you know someone who has a YouTube channel, they can actually promote you or promote your own YouTube channel on that other YouTube channel in the community feature. Now, it used to be called community feature. Now it's just called posts. So you'd go to posts here, and this is where you could promote the channel. Right? So you could just promote it right here, and that's a good place to do it. And that could get you a little bit extra views. You can also promote your own channel, of course, but basically it just lets more people know that your video is being uploaded. So obviously you can promote your own channel from that channel, Or if you have another channel, you can promote it from there. Or if you have a friend that has a bigger channel, you can promote it from there. So it's basically a way to get more views right when it gets posted. And this can definitely help out. Now, uploading is important. It's something you should do right because it's one of those things where it's like you're planting seeds and you're gonna get results in the future. But if you want to see exactly how I blew my brother's channel up in 1 month from literally 0 subscribers, 0 experience on YouTube, and a 50-year-old who's not tech savvy, all the way to making over $200 a day on YouTube in 29 days, that's exactly what I'm gonna be going over in my live training. It'll be this Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'm gonna show you exactly how we did it. And this will be a workshop where you'll get access to me, you'll get to ask me questions on Zoom directly. It's like we're having a Zoom call together. And you'll learn about how you can get views, subscribers, and most importantly, how to actually make money from your channel. And not only that, but we'll be giving away something very special at the end of the workshop. It'll be an AI tool that's gonna be an absolute game changer for your content creation and save you a ton of time. So definitely check it out down in the description in the pinned comment below. And also check out this video right here. I'm gonna do the end screen that I talked about earlier, where I basically talk about how we helped Sean scale to over 500K on YouTube. And you can check it out by clicking right here.